Okay, let me show you question number 7. Given x equals to 4 is the axis of symmetry of the graph of the quadratic function fx equals 7 plus 8x minus x squared. Determine the coordinate of the maximum point. So, why they ask you for the maximum point? Because the graph is like this. There is no minimum point, but there is a maximum point. And x equal to 4 is the axis of symmetry. So if this is axis of symmetry, this is x equals 4. So x for this coordinate or the maximum will be 4. What we do not know, we do not know the fx or the value of y. Okay, fx equals to y. Okay, so x is 4. Okay, because it is maximum. And how do we know it's maximum? Because the value of a is -1. It's not here. It's not because of the arrangement, but because of the coefficient of x squared. So a is -1, so the graph will be maximum point. So x will be 4 because of, they say x equals 4 is the value of the axis of symmetry. So how do we get this? Just replace x as 4. So f4 is 7 plus 8 times 4 minus 4 squared. It's better to put the value inside bracket, okay? Because sometimes the value of x is negative, and if you didn't write it properly, you might get it wrong. Okay. So it will be, what is the value? 7 plus 8 times 4 minus bracket 4 square. Make sure it's in bracket, is 23. Okay, so equal to 23. So the coordinates will be 4, 23. Okay, is there any problem on this? Okay, let me brief you on question number 8. The diagram shows part of the graph of quadratic function fx equals negative x squared plus 6x minus 5. The straight line AB is parallel to the x-axis. Determine the coordinate of point A. Point A is here. Okay, so how do you are going to solve this? In order to get the coordinate of point A, you use assumption, or there is, you know something about the coordinate of A. That is, on the y-axis, the x is always 0. Okay? X is always 0. So you could replace x as 0. So 0 squared will be 0 plus 6 times 0 will be 0. So what is left? Negative 5. So A will be 0, negative 5. Okay. In other words, this is actually the value of C. If you remember equation of straight line that you covered last year in Form 3, last chapter, y equals to mx plus c. So you will have to notice that y equal to mx plus c, c is the y-intercept. So in this context of quadratic equation, you look at the number without coefficient of x, that is in this case is negative 5. So negative 5 is the intersection of the graph with the y-axis. So again, A will be 0, negative 5. So because of the constant, x is constantly 0 on the y-axis. Okay, that is A. B, equation of the symmetry. Equation of the symmetry, so for B, is this line. Whenever we are talking about quadratic equation in terms of x, okay, because quadratic equation you can also express in terms of y. So the graph will be different. So in this case, the function is in terms of x. Fx equal to, you have x here. The graph will be either this shape or smiley face. So the axis of symmetry for this case will be always x equals something. You have to find that something. So what you have to understand about this line of symmetry is that why is it called x equal to something? Because x is constant. On the line, x is a value that does not change. So how do we know that? How do we find that? In the context of maths, okay? Do not apply your knowledge of maths here, okay? So in order to do that, if you see graph here, it intersects the x-axis here and here. So you can label this as x and y. Okay? So how do we find x and y? X and y are the roots of the graph. Intersection of the graph with the x-axis are the same with what we call roots. So root of the graph, because intersection with the x-axis, the value of fx will be 0. So you can say here 0 equals to negative x squared plus 6x minus 5. Then most probably you could factorize it. Okay, it's not most probably. You could factorize it. Okay, because in the context of maths, they will give you only equation that you could find the root using factorization. So you press mode, and you have EQN, press 1. From there you press the right button in the middle there, and press 2 from the degree. And so in this case, A is negative 1, A is negative 1, B is 6, and C is negative 5. So the roots are 1 and 5. X will be 1, X will be 5. So it will be x minus 1 and x minus 5. So if here is 1 and 5, the coordinates, if you are interested to know the coordinate, it will be 1, 0 and 5, 0. And then for your info, to answer the question B, is not related to the coordinate, but is related to the root. So again, in order to find the value of x here, it is always in the middle of the graph. Maybe this doesn't look similar to this length, but because of my drawing. But if you draw according to some scale and then you put all the coordinate like what you learned in form 2, you will find the middle here will be this. This is the middle. When we say the middle, the length here will be equal to the length here. So in order to find the x, you have to find midpoint of these two roots. So midpoint will be 1 plus 5 divided by 2 will be 6 over 2, which is 3. So the equation here will be x equals 3. Okay, and let me repeat. The coordinate here will be 3, 0, and then maybe here will be 3, 1, maybe somewhere here is 3, 2, maybe somewhere here is, oh, I know, here will be 3, negative 5. Okay, what I want to show is that constantly the value of x here will be 3, but not y. Y will be changing from one to another. Okay, if you have any question on whatever I'm explaining, do disturb me now. It's relevant. Okay, but if there is none, then I'll continue. And see the coordinate of point B. Okay, The coordinate of point B, what you have to understand about this is that it says the straight line AB is parallel to the x-axis. This line is parallel to this. Okay, AB is parallel to the x-axis. If you notice here, x is 1, 0, 3, 0, 5, 0. What you have to notice on the straight line is that the value of y is constantly 0. On the x-axis, value of y is constantly 0. So if you draw this again, you draw according to scale whatsoever. If you know already that 0, -5 here and 3, -5 here. So B, even though I do not know what is x, I do not know x, but I know y is -5. Okay, on this line, the value of x or the value of y or fx is constantly -5. So in order to answer this question C, what I'll do is that fx I will replace as -5. So -5 is equal to -x squared plus 6x minus 5. So because this is quadratic equation, in order to solve that, we will have to do make it into general form. Okay, general form. Maybe I bring everything to the left side. I have here x squared minus 6x minus 5 plus 5 equal to 0. -5 is this side. This is -5. Then -5 here, you bring to the other side, become plus 5. So what you have here is x squared minus 6x equals to 0. Do we need to use calculator to solve this equation? I do not think so. We just factorize like how we did in form 2. Take out x from here, take out 1x from there. You have x outside here, x, and then inside will be x minus 6 equals to 0. Then you solve one by one. So first x equal to 0. So x equal to 0, and then x minus 6 equal to 0. So x equals to 6. Okay, so x equal to 0 is actually the coordinate of x for A. So the coordinate of x for B will be 6. Use your logic. Okay, the lesser one will be on the left, the larger one will be, okay, so we say therefore B is 6, -5. And the last one, D, the maximum point. The coordinate of the maximum point P, in this case, since we already know the x for the coordinate, okay, so P, the x is also 3, because along the axis of symmetry, the value of x does not change. It only change for fx or the value of y. Okay, so as you can expect, what I'll do, I just replace x here as 3 and try to find what is the fx. So f3 is equals to negative bracket 3 squared plus 6 times 3 minus 5. So here will be 3 squared will be 9, -3, and then negative, 3 squared will be 9, then -9, plus 6 times 3, 18. So -9 plus 18 will be 9. 9 minus 5 will be 4. So therefore, P is 3, 4. Okay, in case that you have any problem, do let me know. The diagram shows the graph of the quadratic function fx equal ax squared plus 8x plus c. Calculate the value of each of the following. A is the value of c. C is here. So how to find c? C is the y-intercept. So sometimes there is no calculation that you can do in order to solve that. But just by looking at the diagram, C or if you notice any algebra without x square, without it's not a coefficient of x square, it's not coefficient of x, so it means it is the y-intercept. So this is y-intercept. So the graph is here and intersect the y-axis or the fx axis at 6. So C is 6. So for B, what's the question? Value of m. M is what? M is the value of x for the minimum point. Okay? M is also the value of the axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry for this graph. Okay. So what is the property of M that you might have remembered already? It is the midpoint between two roots given here. So the length here and here are the same. So M could be calculated using midpoint between the two roots given here. So M is -1 plus -3 divided by 2. So -4 divided by 2 will be -2. So M will be -2. The next question is C. What is the value of A? Okay, so before you can answer that, since you know the value of C is 6, so you should replace fx equals to ax squared plus 8 times 8x plus 6. Okay, so how to calculate the value of A is you have to know that here you have the 6 here, and have you replaced any of the coordinate on the line here to inside here, to inside the equation? Not yet. So you can pick either coordinate of -1, 0 or -3, 0 in the equation in order to calculate the value of A. So -3 is x, the fx is 0, fx is 0, not x. X is -3, fx is just like y. X and fx, or x and y. So you see, let's say I pick this coordinate. 0 equals to a times -3 squared plus 8 times -3 plus 6. So what you have to understand about this, you have to square first. -3 squared will be 9. So 9a. This is 8 times -3 will be -24 plus 6. 0 is here. And in case that you want to simplify, -24 plus 6 will be -18 equal to 0. And then 9a equals to 18, or you can also bring a 9a to the other side, so -9a equals to -18. Up to you, which both are correct. So -18 will be over -9, so a is 2. What happens if I replace x as -1 and fx as 0? Let's do it together. Okay, so 0 equals to a times -1 squared plus 8 times -1 plus 6. So -1 squared will be 1. So 0 equals to 1a. 8 times -1 will be -8 plus 6. So -8 plus 6 will be -2. And then I'll just move -2 here. I'll still get a equals to 2. Okay? And 9D, what is the value of n? N is the value of the minimum point. So to find the value of the minimum point, you just replace x, which we have found already. In case that you have not found it yet, find it. Okay, so sometimes they just ask you to find the minimum point. So first you have to find the value of x using midpoint, and then afterwards you replace x as -2. So before you can answer that, for question D, you have to replace fx, and you say, and replace a as 2. So we have a is 2, so 2x squared plus 8x plus 6. Actually, you replace it here, okay, or here, okay. So now you do not have any algebra that you do not know except x, because x is variable, it changes, it keep changing. So in this case, x is -2, so we say f -2 equals 2 -2 squared plus 8 times -2 plus 6. So we have -2 squared will be 4, 4 times 2 will be 8, positive. And 8 times -2, or let me write down, 8 minus 16 plus 6. So 8 minus 16, it will be -8. -8 plus 6 will be -2. So -2, therefore n is -2. Okay. The other way is that you replace x as -2. Okay. Oh, you replace it. Yeah, this is how you replace it. Okay. So the coordinate of the minimum point will be -2, -2. Okay. Is there any further clarification that you need? Let me know.